Today on the Cameron Journal podcast, I am joined by Samuel Chambers. He is the animator and creator of The Timid Bunny, which we're going to find out all about. I have been sitting here reading all of his documentation and whatnot, and it's this cute little story about an athlete who faces a difficult decision after an accident and a friend's betrayal derails his dreams, according to the log line. And the website has a cute little bunny. So I'm going to find out about the name particularly and about the process of how this came together. So, welcome, Samuel, to the Cameron Journal podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the warm intro. And yeah, you know, yeah, this
Yeah. Well, why don't we start from the very beginning? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your project?
yeah, Sam Chambers. I live in Florida, Florida born and stuff like that. And I've been working on this project for a little minute, honestly. When it comes down to the whole thing that brought it together, it was really three things. It came down to my friend. He had kicked the bucket early due to his career. That's me. The main reason why the story is there is because his trajectory in his life decided to get cut short because his friends decided to betray him. And as for my other reason why I wrote it was for my cousins, my cousin, my sister.
Mm.
Those two are in track, so I thought it'd be cool to do something around that aspect. And it was just what's in my circle, what's in my sphere. And for the other part of it was a Nike commercial actually, and the Nike commercial was winning is uncomfortable, and it just tied all both of those things together. And now I just was going to actually sell the script. It was originally going to be a sold script, but I decided to switch pivot from that and actually make it. So
Very
that,
nice.
that's the whole thing.
Yes, and why I want to dive into the name. Where did the name come from?
The Timid Bunny. I don't. It just felt right because at the moment, my just like the whole idea was the fact that my friend um decided to go back into the career just like
Mm.
Tony the Bunny, and he decides to believe that he wants to get back into it, but he's kind of timid towards it because he's like, should I do it? Should I not? Wait, should I? Should I not do it? Is this in my wheelhouse still? And so the timid bunny just came together. A bunny who's timid and who wants to get back into his career, but is kind of scared to do it.
Oh, all right. Well, that definitely makes sense. So let's walk in. So this is an animated thing. Am I right about that? Did I read that correctly?
Indeed.
Okay. So let us walk us through the process of how did you make this? What is the process one goes through to tell this story?
Well, from the intro point of view of like my cousin, my friend, my cousin, my sister, and my friend, and the whole Nike commercial, it just at the moment in my life, it was kind of like it was in a weird path because I was trying to, build up a brand for myself. And I was doing all types of things. I'm talking about poetry. I'm doing all this type of stuff. I really wanted to do a poetry refinement service. And then I was going to do like content around that. But then once I actually realized that this wasn't really meant for me, I really want to do what I really wanted to do from the beginning was to build an audience so I can make a film. And
Hmm.
so from the idea of making this happen, it really got me in my mind and made me think like, am I getting closer to where I want to be in my life? And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, no, I'm not. Because I'm not doing what I said I wanted to do, which was film. Which no, not was, which is film. And
Yeah.
so from the point of view of me being able to sit down with myself, had that tough conversation and cut things off that needed to be cut off, that's when the path like started glowing, and I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, so how long did it take to write the initial script?
So it didn't really take me long. It kind of was like um kind of just came out. Well, I busted out in like a month and I think a month and a half for it because I have two scripts that's
Hmm.
going to be able to be put together because I have a pilot short film so we can talk about the main short film, The Timid Bunny. And those two was like a month and a half. I think I would say when the hurricane hit us, because in Florida we had that big hurricane that came through, and
Mhm.
I did that while in the hurricane. And
Oh,
well,
okay.
like 3 days before, and then the rest from that.
I mean, what I, having been through a couple hurricanes in North Florida, the last thing I would think to do during all of that is write. I have to say, that's a little nuts. But I know Florida people are built different because you folks are used to that. So it's, I'm originally from Denver, so
Mm.
I allow people to get scared at tornadoes. So it's like, there's a tornado. I'm kind of like, and it will last a minute and a half and it will be gone. And anyway, let's get back to life. Lunch, like sort of,
I mean, no,
And
like
they're like,
I'm gonna
it's
say like
snowing, and I'm kind of like, it does that all the time. What's your point? Like, so.
no, for real, because like when it was when the storm had happened, I was like typing it up. I was using my hotspot on my phone because I don't use like Final Draft. I use Celtics, and so around that time of me being able to, write this whole story out, and the lights were going out and everything, I just was like, I gotta get this story done because
Yeah, no,
mind
that's so
you,
insane. Yeah,
my
but like I said, Florida people are built different when it comes to all that stuff. You folks yeah, it hardly phases. It's quite impressive. Um, and then what about the animation process? What was that like?
so as of right now, if with everything that's going on right now, we're in pre-development, so we're looking to build up this whole thing from the ground up, and
Yeah,
we have how should I say it? We have an idea of where we want to go for the style and who we want to work with, and
nice.
so from where I stand, I'm the writer and director. I'm the person who's just like telling, well, I want to see how this thing goes, how I'm writing it, and I'm telling people what needs to be done. So as for the writing aspect of it all, it's strenuous, but as for the animation, we're mostly just building up to that because right now we're in our reservation stage and we're getting people put together. That's where I'm wearing a button,
Oh yes.
and that's what comes with our reservation when you get your spot in. So right now I'm just knocking on doors, going to events, having meetings with people. My team's been putting me on podcasts left and right, and it's been busy, man. I tell you, no lie, it's been if I'm over here, I'm over there. If I'm not talking to you, it's like it's it's been a lot, for just doing my own.
No, no, I can tell. Yes. So let's talk inspiration. So you wrote the script in a month and a half, which is impressive, during a hurricane, which is also impressive. What gets the creative juices flowing for you?
My state, my Florida as a whole, like I can tell you right now, from where I am, a lot of people aren't really staying here. And because I'm from Palmetto, I come from Palmetto, Bradenton, Sarasota. I have family
Yeah.
on the whole line from there. And I don't we don't, I would say this for me, from my perspective, we don't have a lot of creatives out here. But I mean, there's like when you're like actually go to like certain spots because we have Ringling in Sarasota, but
Right.
the Ringling School of Arts, but it's not outside of it. There's no connecting the dots for people like me who do music. Well, I dabble in it, but who write films, who do art, who does all the things that's in the creative industry within the entertainment industry as well. So I would say the main thing that keeps me up is making sure that my community within Palmetto, Bradenton, Sarasota, Florida, and Florida as a whole can have that chance to be able to have a place or a person they can look to and be like, he's from here. He's one of us. And another thing that I should say that really gets me going is my family. So my
Mm.
friends and stuff. I just like the fact that giving out opportunity. I'm a big person on handouts. I love getting handouts and I love handing out things to people to at least some knowledge, some money here and there to work on their projects. I'm a people person. A lot of people nowadays don't like people. I don't know why, but what really keeps me going is just my state, my family, and the community that I'm building up for it. So that I feel like that's a big thing that's really keeping me going.
No, that's a difficult definitely a difficult place to do it, and a lot of people in your situation would have long moved to Atlanta for its film scene.
Oh,
Um, yeah. It's or New York or Los Angeles. So it's impressive that you're trying to still do it there.
Yeah, I just see I see that I see there's a lot of people. I'm gonna say is this. Every time I see somebody move out of the state or move from their home because they want the opportunity, I mean, let's be real. You're like where like right now, like where what state are you in?
I'm outside of Hartford, Connecticut, near New York City.
That part. The
Yeah.
fact that you're in New York and I'm in Florida, this phone, right? I'm talking you through, or the whatever you're using right now. This is the opportunity. We're in a digital age where people are able to use social media and everything else around us to actually put forth the effort to make these connections happen. LinkedIn, TikTok, just the whole thing. So for me, being able to conduct myself and making these things happen, it's important. It's a way. And I think with this project that I'm working on, from the reservation part to the final product of the Timid Bunny, and the fact that I'm doing a whole documentary series on the whole thing of me doing the work, it would give people more of a how should I say it, more of a fire under their butt. I think that's the right expression. Yeah,
Yeah.
that it gives them that saying, oh, since he's from where I'm at, and he's using everything around him and the knowledge he's getting from all these different people, what's stopping me from making it?
No, I mean there's I mean there's definitely multiple paths. I definitely I thought I would never leave Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where I started out at and I ran two magazines in Colorado. Um and when the second one failed, not because of me, due to theft, didn't count on that. I was trying to figure out what was next. Could never find a job in Denver to save my life. Everything I had been doing creatively and in nightlife, no one wanted to talk to me because the scandal of that business failing was so big. And Denver's a small town, don't let the skyscrapers fool you.
Mm-hmm.
And I helped make Denver cool, which is nice. Created Denver Fashion Week, which is now a bit one of the biggest fashion events in the West. Which is
Indeed.
all fine and well, but I definitely, I started getting people in my ear kind of being like, for what you want to do, for where you want to go, all this type of thing, you're not going to do it from here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I moved to Seattle for 10 years. And then last year, in not 24, but 23, a year and a half ago, I decided to give the East Coast a try again. And that it has definitely been a very different thing. So there's something to be said for everybody. I have wonderful friends who stayed in Denver and are doing great work there. I have wonderful friends who ended up leaving or whatever having or doing great work where they are. So I appreciate you being in column B, those who stay and make do with the soil that they have, not the soil they wish they had. So I appreciate that for sure.
Oh, honestly, no, I appreciate it because, like, I don't know. It just feels like ever feel like I don't know if you've like seen the bio and stuff like that on me. It's 5 years, man. 5 years, about to go on six of me being in this industry, and I'm gonna say like from 2024, like the tail end, it's just been an upward trend. It's just been here's this, here's that, and oh my god, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Like the reason I feel like it mostly is because like I had a significant other before this all this stuff started happening for me. I went on a cruise with her, and yeah, it's just been ever since I got off the cruise and I've met those people on that ship. It just constantly just been going up. They've been calling me, they've been texting me, showing me people, asking me to come to these events. It's I think the biggest thing about being a creative person, and if anything like an entrepreneur, is your network, is your people, is your knowledge, is how you conduct yourself and how you move through every crevice and hole that you go through. So when it came down to you moving away just to get your opportunity, I'm not knocking nothing about that. By the way, I don't knock people for doing it. I just find it. I just wish that some people had the chance to be like, hey, it looks hard now, but it's going to pay off in the end. And if you feel that's not the thing you want to do, that's fine. I just see that with people like me, who I want to be is that staple, is that underdog story to be like, hey, it's this guy who I look up to. He came from here and he stayed here. I mean,
Yeah.
as I get older, I plan on moving away, but I want to solidify where I'm at right now. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me. And I appreciate the fact that every opportunity that's come to me, it's been little lightning strikes here and there, and it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, it's I think about it every day when it comes down to me being able to wake up every day and feel like I got something to do today. That's a different feeling. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people wish they had that. Like something's not working for them. They've been working for the longest, but just every single day, it's just been a constant. What's next? And there.
Mhm. Well, no, no, the networking thing is quite important. That was definitely an area where I've always struggled, mostly because it takes a lot of time to do this show, and I also write, and I've written books, and I write for the Cameron Journal, and all this type of thing. It is bloody hard to find time for it all, and to take the time to go and meet people and develop relationships and all this type of thing. It's no easy thing. So good on you for taking the time to do that, rather than what I did, which was just launch into the creation and hoping to meet, meet people later. So, but one of the blessed things about this show, and as it's gotten popular and all this type of thing, is now so much of that stuff comes to me,
Mhm.
which is really great. And I meet really interesting people through the show, and sometimes on the occasion, someone's very helpful. So that's a very good thing too. So, yeah,
So yeah, but by the way, when you said that you decided to dive head first in, trust me. Like when I first made this project, I decided I don't know if you got a chance to look through the link, like you saw the journal entries and stuff.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So from that point of view, of being able to jump into that full fledged, I think it was I didn't really just I didn't really have to connect the network. It just like I had to go out there, knock on doors, and allow people to understand that this project is something that I'm just jumping into. Like I didn't have this plan. I wasn't really gonna do all this. It just I had on, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I admire you for, just jumping into it. Because a lot of people can't do that. They wish they could just like have the connections and stuff and build for that. You know.
No, no, that is 110% true. So did you study film?
No, I didn't study. I didn't study film at all at Brigham
Okay,
State University. It's just simply just off the people I've met ever since I left school, and
that's
from
cool.
you, it's just been a, hey, how you doing? Meet this person. Oh, what's your name? It's just been building off from all the years. So,
No, that's
okay.
that's quite impressive. A lot I ask is a lot of people film school has killed more careers than you'd imagine. Well, sometimes here's the problem is, and I even run into this in writing, and I say this as someone who has an MFA, is sometimes people have a very unique creative perspective or whatever have you, and everyone encourages them to go study that sort of thing, and they get stuck in whatever that school is good at, or whatever that filmmaking is, or they get really focused on all the skills and equipment and all this type of thing. But so they're getting skills, they're buying equipment, but they're not actually making anything. Like not no work is actually ever produced. Um and I've seen it, even with writing. In fact, I resisted very famously getting an MFA for the longest time. When I first started writing books when I was 26. Um, everyone's kind of like, oh, because I already had undergrad and a graduate degree, exhausting. I was like, oh, you should do an MFA program, and I'm kind of like, why? They're not going to teach me anything. Um, and I didn't for years and years and years and years and years. And then when I decided I wanted to work in the industry of publishing when I was 31, almost 32, I did decide to get into a program. That's how I spent most of the pandemic, actually, in 2021, because I was living in the East, had a girlfriend, we broke up. I traveled for 6 months during a pandemic. never do that. And then I landed back in Seattle because all of my friends and different people were like, "Come home, come home, come home." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go back to Seattle." And I said, "You know what? If I'm going to work in this industry, I need a degree in something in what I actually do." So I signed up for an MFA program. Longest, most painful, most crazy thing I've ever done, but it was good. I did learn some things along the way. Didn't plan to learn anything. I mean, I arrived at that program with a major journal publishing and three books out. So I wasn't really, I'm like, what more am I going to learn from you people? And a lot of it was refinement. Um, a lot of it was things that I didn't know that I was missing along the way. So, but there's definitely, in that debate of to or to not to, I think it's something where I think for you at your stage, and I imagine you're still in your 20s, you definitely should, yeah, you should definitely, be creative, make the thing, and then maybe consider doing that down the road after you've already made something, after you've had that creative process, all this type of thing. You may find down the road that there are skills that you need. But it's your own journey, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, honestly, because like I have a friend named Christina actually who went to Full Sail University, and she's been doing her thing. You know, she was part of the project in the beginning stages, but she had to fall back because of the responsibilities that needed her attention. So you know, I respect her for that. And from the point of view now, she's like, you know, she's doing her thing. She's looking to make a film, and once my stuff is done, and like you know, I would say because the process of me making this film, like I told you, I have two scripts, and these two scripts will be the marketing force to push the main thing to be the main thing. And in the wake of me doing a documentary series, like I told you, like I'm looking to uplift Florida because it's my home. I was born and raised here, and I thought it'd be cool to be able to show what people are here and what they're doing. So from people who are looking to get that, how should I say that I don't want to say validation or just that spotlight. I want
Yeah.
people, it'll be able to give them that push to be like, hey, I saw you on there. Like, what's next? What you got going on? Is this something that's being built up? So
Well, absolutely. So when it comes to your storytelling, what are you reading? What are you watching that helps you give your story a sense of story?
I would say one of the biggest things right now for me is One Piece and Dan to Dan. Those are just two animated series, mostly anime. That's really like pushing me forward, especially One Piece. I really like the fact that Oda is really put like laid out the foreground when I first beginning to watch it, and now it's just such a big thing. And I think
Yeah.
from my projects moving forward from the Timid Bunny, once this thing is fully completed and stuff like that, and I plan on making others, I hope to make my own magnum opus. And that's those two. I am also, I think the book is called Vagabond. I managed to get that in my hands. I went to the library and saw it, and I was like, oh snap, because I watched so many video essays, and it's been a whole lot of like narratives. Sometimes I'll watch a YouTube video about business and being able to like cultivate that as something that's inside my project, which is crowdfunding right now. And the fact of me being able to not only cultivate an audience on the behalf of the Timid Bunny, it'll also be able to get how should I say it? How should I say it? I want to say this because when I'm doing this project and doing a documentary series, I'm also looking to cultivate an audience called WWYCU. And with WWYCU, I learned from Alex Ramosi is build an audience, and that audience can take you far. And I've noticed a lot of audience and communities, they're and I'm not saying I'm not pointing names, I'm throwing shade, but it's not. Some of them are just like siphoning from their community. What my
Mm.
goal is for WWYCU moving forward, since I'm in the entertainment industry, is give back to my community on mostly taking proceeds from my project and putting like 15 to 10% back into it to the community that I built because this community is the main thing because taking the crowdfunding approach instead of going out for investors. Because right now, I could have just been pitching people on the on my project, which I am, but for only this project. I don't want to continuously go out for every project. I want to use the people that I have and constantly build it up every time so I can get higher and higher in my career. And my people who are in this community will be able to how should I say this? Um what's the word I'm looking for? A benefit. So they're able to benefit from it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how big this thing gets and how I can cultivate it, not only through this project, but many other things as this project goes on.
Well, you certainly have a lot of big plans, which is quite impressive. Um, and a lot of big ideas. That's good. Are you still writing and working on episodes while you do all of this?
Right now it's just the Timid Bunny. We kind of put the script on hiatus so we can build up the audience because the biggest thing, like I told you, is crowdfunding. We're we're like I told you, I think I have my bag here. Hold on, let me see. So like every time what we're doing, like I told you, we're knocking doors, we're talking to people, going to events and stuff. Right now as we speak, for anybody who out there who's like thinking about like doing something unique, it's common, having cards and stuff like this. You
Oh
know,
yeah, absolutely. No, that's very cute.
honestly. And like the biggest thing is like when every time I pop it out, they're like, "Oh, you're so professional with it." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I got to get it out there. I got to get it in your minds and stuff." And especially with the idea what my friend that gave me before the project even started. What's this little button right here? Because one thing I've learned while being able to be around people that want to be do well in life is just like real estate. It's not into the fact of like houses and stuff, but brand real estate. And with the project I'm working on, this is what you will get if you decide to reserve your spot. And every time someone reserving their spot, they get in these buttons and they're able to come in five and you're able to share it. And that thing that really got in my mind was how can I push this thing out without me having to go out there? Is just have this. I reserve my spot. And so they'll ask the question like, what did you reserve? And I think that was one of the biggest things with the cards and also having the buttons and people constantly coming around and looking at the things that I've been doing, especially with the journal entries and possibly even with this, what we got going on, is spreading the awareness. And 9 times out of 10, I haven't spent no money on ads yet.
Yeah.
So it's it's just tricky sometimes, but I think the best thing about being able to cultivate an audience so we can make this thing happen, even without outside projects, it's important, especially when it comes down to a project like this one, when it's really time consuming, it's really hectic, and sometimes it just needs the people to be like support, like, hey, I believe in you. I bought this for a reason. I took your card and passed it out for a reason. So right now we're just building up the audience slowly but surely. But I want to say slowly but mediumly getting it there, like at a medium pace. So
No.
that's where where my head is at, and mostly get people on to who I am and what my team is doing, which is the Timid Button.
Yeah. Well, it's all quite impressive. It's all quite impressive. Well, this is the part of the show where we do plugs, and so we can find out where to find you and follow you on social media and find out more about your project. So, where would we go to do that?
So at the moment, as you can see, I'm gonna just like show it on screen real quick. As you can see, right, let me see if it gets focused. Does it seem like it's getting focused? No, okay.
Not quite
So
good enough.
at the moment, you can go on Bento, as like the Bento box without box though, just Bento BENTO.me and slash the Timid Bunny. Simple as that. BENTO.me/ the Timid Bunny. No spaces or anything like that. Everything from who I am to everything we got going on is all there. You'll be able to find out my links, my journal entries, everything that you need to know about the Timid Bunny, we're always putting it there. And so if anybody wants to figure out who I am and where to go to support this cause, you can go right there.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on the Cameron Journal podcast. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Likewise.
That's all for this episode of the Cameron Journal podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Visit us online at CameronJournal.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I love to talk to my followers and listeners, so please feel free to get us on social media at Cameron Cowan on Twitter. And we'll see you next time on the Cameron Journal podcast. Thank you.